Okay, Dr. Vallée, let's talk about your paper that was just published in Progress in Aerospace Sciences, entitled "Estimates of radiative energy."
Yes,
Okay.
radiative energy values in ground level observations of an unidentified aerial phenomena with new physical data. And the significance of that is that it was, this is the #1 publication in aerospace industry, the aerospace applied to industry. So it's read all over the world. It's edited in India and partially in China. It's published, the publisher is Elsevier in England. And so it goes all over the world. And this type of magazine has resisted for a very long time, touching the subject of UFOs for all the reasons you gave. It's messy, it's complicated, there are many stakeholders, and so on. So this is something of a breakthrough. It's really one of it's really the very first issue of that magazine that is devoted to the UFO phenomenon worldwide.
And you co-wrote this with Luke Dinny and Jeffrey Mestchersky, if I'm pronouncing those names correctly. So
my co-authors, we studied, part of it was studied in the United States, and part of the analysis was done in France with my co-authors, Luc Dinny, who has organized one of the official research groups in France, actually in Europe, and Jeffrey Mestchersky, who is also an environmental expert in France, and they have access to laboratories and so on. And as you will see, the main question now is going to be in the lab. Rather than out in the open with the witnesses, but it's a long story.
And this story, so this is about a UAP incident reported by a Louis A. Galloway in Haynesville, Louisiana, on December 30th, 1966. So tell us what happened during that incident. What did he and his family see?
It's a very simple story. Mm-hmm. It's not classified. It's not. This man is going home with his wife and 2 kids through a forest at night. It's raining. It's a big forest. It's a forest that's an industrial forest, which belongs to Weyerhaeuser. It's extremely large. And they grow trees that are harvested carefully, periodically, by sections, and are used to build the roof of your house, and the 2x4s and shelves and things like that. So it's a commercial operation. So it's carefully tended. This man sees a light ahead of him, ahead of his car, and there shouldn't be a light in that forest. This is a few days around Christmas. The weather is close to freezing. It's not quite freezing, so it's rain. It's not snow. But he can see through the rain. He can clearly see that light. The light seems to be extremely bright as he gets closer. And he gets concerned with the intensity of the light. He does what you and I would have done, what anybody would have done. He stops the car, and he does the computation of the balance of the intensity of the light versus the intensity of his headlights. Of course, we all know the intensity of our headlights, right?
Sure.
Well, he's a professor of physics, so he likes to know those things. So he knows the intensity of his headlights, and the light in the forest, a mile or more away, is washing out his headlights about 10 to 15 feet ahead of his car. He does a calculation, and he ends up with a power output from the light, which is equivalent to a nuclear power station. It shouldn't be there. Sure. It shouldn't be in the forest right now. There's nobody around. And, it's not accessible by road. It's off in the forest somewhere. So he does the right thing. He speeds off away from this, getting his family out of there. The kids have woken up. They're crying. His wife is there. She's concerned. He's concerned. They get home. And he does what a good citizen should do. He writes a report to the airport.
So what kind of power are we talking about? And it's way beyond anything we would have the capability of producing in the middle of a forest somewhere, correct?
What you're asking is not a naive question. It's not a simple question. It's really the key to a lot of, you could ask that question about many, many cases. All we're dealing with is the light energy. There could be other things behind it. I mean, what produces the light? I mean, you don't fly around with something like this, assuming it has something to do with space and travel and so on, or time travel or whatever, just to light up a forest. So the light could be a byproduct of something else. And I'm waiting for somebody to criticize, I'm waiting for a physicist to criticize our paper by saying, you're assuming, you're calculating energy out of a light, but maybe there were other types of dispersion of power from this thing that you don't know about. So the answer is yes. And that's why we're going to study the bark of the tree, because we think we're going to find that it's not burned.
It is not burned.
This is radiation. And the tree recorded, remember that thing was pulsing. So we expect to find layers, very thin, microscopic layers within the wood that may have ranges of energy that it's recorded. In other words, it's not burned all the way through. Remember, we have the bark from the other side of the tree. And those are not old trees, okay? They are harvested from market. So we have a live, active tree. And now the problem is that I and my co-authors are, physicists by training. And we've studied UFO cases a lot. But we don't know anything about botany. We don't know much about trees. And even tree specialists range, over a wide area. So we're going to be looking for people who understand how trees react to energy. Now, in part, those are the people in nuclear, in the military nuclear applications where they've actually gone to the site of a nuclear explosion and analyzed the plants. Those are the people we want to talk to, and then we want to find a methodology that doesn't destroy the wood. So it's going to take time. It's going to take time to find the right people, but they have to teach us their part of it by reading. I mean, the tree is the witness. The tree was there, and the tree recorded did something that a human witness could not have done. The tree recorded the energy throughout. So that tree is a treasure. I mean, that bark is a treasure.
Yeah.
So there are essentially only 3 cases in the whole history, So if you just, and that's what I want to do now. I don't need the 260,000 classified cases in
Sure.
Las Vegas. I mean, I don't know where they went, and good luck. And there are lots of, very qualified computer scientists who can do what I would have done.
Right,
So
right.
that's fine. I trust that it's in good hands. Now I want to this gives me license to go focus on a few cases like this one. And I assure you there are others that any scientist should know about and should look at before opining on what UFOs are, and before filing patents for propulsion and so on. I mean, what kind of propulsion does this thing have?
Right.
With that kind of energy, and again, to your question before, this is only the light energy. We don't know what produces it. We don't know what else it does, because obviously it has anti-gravity too. It can lift and it can fly around. I mean, we have those other cases in the area where the thing was flying around. Okay, so how do you do that?